if-else statements in R. If-else statements, there are different types of if-else statements that we can use in R. So first is if statement, in which there will be a code block that will get executed if the condition is true. The second is else statement. It gets executed when the condition is false. The third is else if statement, which specifies new condition if the first condition is not met. The fourth one is if else statement, used to check the conditions for all the elements present in a vector. Let's understand them one by one. So the first one is if statement. So if statement is executed, is used when we have to specify, when we have to evaluate a condition, if it is true or false. If the condition that we want is true, then the statements written in the curly brackets, they will execute themselves. The second one is nested if. Now, nested if works when there is a if condition, there is a condition that we want to evaluate, which is true or false. If it is true, the statement inside the curly bracket, it will get executed, and then there will be an additional if condition inside it, which again will check the condition and execute the statement that will be written along with it. So nested if contains an additional if inside the main branch. Next is else statement. Now else statement is added, like if statement was used when the total block, when the condition is true, at that time if condition is executed. But if the condition is not true, it is false, at that time else block is used. Now else says if the first condition is not met, then execute the second statement. So this is how else will be used. The next is else if statement. Now else if statement includes multiple ifs. So first condition will be checked. If it is true, it will get executed. Then we will add one more if condition with else command, and again it will check the condition. If this new condition is true, if it is positive, the statements will get executed, otherwise it will again go to the next else, which will be the false branch, in which if none of the above conditions are met, then this else command will be executed. Next is if else function. Now if else function is a part of R programming. It's a function present in R in which we will check the condition. If it is, so it's just one statement in which first is the condition that we will give. If the condition is met, then the second part is the statement for the true. And if the condition is false, then it will be the third part of the statement, that is the false statement. So if the condition is met, it will execute the true statement. If the condition is false, it will execute the false statement. This is how else function work. Now, there are some loop function as well in R. So first loop that we know is while loop. While loop works same way as if condition. So until it says while the condition is met, we will evaluate if the condition is true or false. Then the statements, whatever written in the statement part, it will get executed. Then the second one is loop, the for loop. Now, for loop works, which says when you want same thing to be repeated many times. So, for example, all those values in any vector, for this number of value, the statement will be keep repeating itself until it will reach a condition. So it is for loop. It will work until it will reach a position or a last limit that we have given for that loop. So let's go to R and understand all these functions through codes. Let's understand if-else statement in R. Now, I have taken two variables here. First is X, in which I have saved a number 50. And the second one is Y, in which we have saved 80. So these are two variables that have been created. We will use it to understand if condition. So how to use if condition in R? we will say if x is greater than y, x is less than y. So what should happen? I will start a curly bracket, and for the statement I will write print y is greater than x. So what should happen if this condition that we have given here, wherein x is less than y, if it is met, it is true, it will print y is greater than x. Let's see if it is working. So ideally it should print it because y contains 80 and x contains 50. Let's select it also. Whenever you want to execute a if block, you have to select the whole command and then you will execute it with control enter. So you just saw the output is y is greater than x because this condition was true. Let's try to just change this symbol. Let's make it greater than. So it says if x is greater than y. So I have changed the condition now. Let's see if it is printing this or not. So I'll execute it again. I'll select the whole block and I'll run the command. So you see there is no output because the condition was false. So this is how if statement works. Now we have used it inside curly brackets. You can also use it without curly brackets. So how to write it? It says if x is less than y. So this is the condition that we have given. You can directly write print y is greater than. Let's see. So it works like that without curly brackets. Now the next is nested ifs. So there are three values we have taken here. X and y we already had these. We have created a new variable z with value 90 in it. Now to create nested ifs, the condition that we will give is, so if in the bracket I will say x is less than y, then what should happen? I'll open a curly bracket. There will be a statement first. So statement is, if it is true, it should print y is greater than x. Now, if this is true, this will print. Now, I will add one more condition to it, which says if z is greater than x. So I'm checking value of z. If it is greater than x, so it should print. I'm using it without curly brackets here. So I will say print. It will say x is smaller than y and z. Let's see if it is printing. So I'll select all of it and I'll just enter. So you see both of the statements have been printed because both of them were true. Let's try to change one condition here. Let's make z is smaller than x. Now print this. So you will see only one statement has been printed, that is y is greater than x, which is this, because only this if condition was true. This condition was false, that's why it did not get printed. So this is how you can use if nested ifs. Now let's start with else statement. So again I am using the same vectors. X is 80 and y is 50. Let's execute both of them. Now we are using else statement. So it will start with if and we will add else to it. So it will work as if x is greater than y. When x will be greater than y, I will start with a curly bracket and I will print, let's say print x is greater than y. Okay, and I will add else to it. Now what is the else condition? When y will be greater than x. So at this point I want to print else I will give a curly bracket again and I will print. I'll open a bracket and print y is greater than x. So it says if if x is greater than y, it should print x is greater than y.